Hello from Ozark Christian College in Joplin, Missouri. Today on YouTube, it's the 2020 ACCA Women's Basketball third place game. This is the 3-4 matchup. It's the three-seeded Barclay Bears at 12 and 11 from Haviland, Kansas, taking on the host school Ozark Christian Ambassadors at 13 and 17. Hi everybody, Chris Shima, glad to be with you. Let's meet the starting lineups. First for the Bears from Haviland and head coach Marcus Mitchell. It's number 10, Lydia King. Number 12, Summer Melton. Number 20, Maury Scales. Number 23, Jamia Jackson. And number 24, Beyonce Johnson Anderson. Starting today for Kyle Wicklund and Ozark Christian, the host school, it's number 1, Mackenzie Purington. Number 5, Annie Jaycox. Number 14, Sadie Green. Number 22, Jessica Watson. And number 23, Madison Shaper. Both teams on the court, just about ready to go. It's Ozark coming off that 108-60 loss to Arlington in the semifinal game. And Barclay, first year in the tournament for them, they lost a close one to champion 68-64 in their semifinal. Jamia Jackson had 23 in that game for Ozark. Yesterday was a balanced attack, but Mackenzie Purington had 16 and 12 as the Ambassadors control the opening tip. So both of these teams meeting for Shaper gets on the board. Meeting for the third time this season. They split earlier games in a home and home during the regular season, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that as the day goes on. But about the tournament so far for Purington, who's running the point right now. Shaper got hurt yesterday, but okay today. Was able to get back into the game yesterday as well, missing that shot. Jackson drawing the foul. It's on the floor. Previous two meetings occurred on January 25th here in Joplin, and it was a 67-60 victory for Ozark. And Barclay returned the favor at home. That came about a month later, February 8th. It was Barclay winning 75-72. Good opportunity for both of these teams. Barclay in their first year here in this tournament, and also Ozark, who has not finished above, I believe, 5th place. Have to go back and look at it, but it's been quite a while for the Ambassadors to have a chance to finish 3rd. Going to the bucket, Jackson. We are tied at 2 in the early going. So two teams very familiar with one another and should be a competitive game. Purington for 3. Bounces up, bounces in, and she stays hot. Purington. Good assist player, good shooter. And only going to get better. That's the other thing. Jackson, speaking of good three-point shooter, she's had a good tournament, 33% on the season, 3rd leading scorer in the ACCA. Gets that bucket to go. 2 minutes in, tied at 5. Shaper the runner, and Ozark goes back up by 1. Ozark 65 points per ball game, and Barclay at just over 70 per game. Offensive foul there. Going to spotlight a lot of the seniors for you. Just one for Barclay, Sarah Easterwood. We'll see her come off the bench here today. For Ozark, 3 seniors, including Adriana Hughes, over 1,000 points in her career, and Sadie Green getting the start today. Talking to Kyle Wicklund about her. You know, she's a woman who missed last season with an injury and able to fight her way back to have a nice senior year as she's a part of this building process that has really taken off for Kyle Wicklund. you know, all the recruiting that he did helps, but having these kind of leaders out there, 3 seniors, is certainly helpful. And Jaycock's at the line, making it a 3-point game. Adriana Hughes, who we'll see off the bench, is has been limited in this tournament, but still fighting. There's one of the aforementioned seniors trying to draw a foul, Sadie Green, but goes out of bounds. It was blocked out of bounds. So 16 on the shot clock. Purington gets it in. Jaycox. It's thrown underneath for Shaper. Turnover, Ambassadors. So Melton using the baseline. Throws it out to Maury Scales. Scales right around 2 defenders. Got it to go. The defense was lacking that time for Ozark. Fast start offensively for both of these teams as Jaycox floats it up, no, put back short, tip for the rebound. Purington gets there, and her runner is good. Looking a little bit like Jerry West with that shot. The old-timers probably know what I'm talking about. The logo, 3 ball for Jackson, who's on a mission here in the early going. We are tied at 10, fast start. 57% shooting for Barclay, 50% for Ozark. Purington's got 5, Jackson's got 8. Shaper in the lane, can't get the roll. Jackson the rebound. Jackson, good rebounding guard at just under 4 a game. She'll back it out now as Ozark sprints back on defense. Melton running out of real estate, but it was deflected out of bounds. Here's Adriana Hughes, as I mentioned, over 1,000 points in her collegiate career, and nice to see her and the other seniors after a rough year last year, whether it be injury or play on the court, have an opportunity here to finish their careers strong. Nice defense there as ball was deflected. Purington gets a steal. 3rd in steals coming into the tournament with 68. Jaycox to Green. Green throws it up off the glass, no. And the rebound controlled by Melton. Ooh, Melton got fouled. Got it to King. King couldn't get it to go. Green has the rebound. Purington up top. Underneath Shaper. What a pass and nice dish and bucket from Shaper. Timeout midway through quarter number 1. Fast start, good shooting for both teams. We'll be back. Welcome back to Joplin, everybody. It's Barclay with the basketball. 5 minutes left to go here in this first quarter, and both teams over 50% shooting. Jackson's got 8 to lead all scorers. Shaper and Purington with 11 of the 12 for Ozark, who force another turnover. That's 3 turnovers on Barclay now. Jessica Watson checking back into the game. Sadie Green goes to the bench. Bounce pass from Purington to Hughes. Swings it back out. Purington for three. Yes, again. Purington up to 8. Perfect 3 out of 3 shooting from the field for McKenzie. Melton, Scales. 15-10 Ozark. Maurice Scales with a big bucket. So we got 56% shooting for Barclay, 50% shooting for Ozark. Hot start here in the third place game. Sometimes the early games, they can get a little wonky, but these two teams, like I said, familiar with one another and getting at it. Scales, the pull-up, no good. Watson in transition, inside 4 to go here in the quarter. Watson to the cutter, Jaycox, who lays it up and in. 17-12. Last game these two teams played was in the 70s and are on pace, for 80 plus. King to Anderson, and Johnson Anderson is fouled. Both teams with 2 team fouls at the 3:23 mark. Alexis Gloud will come into the game now as Scales goes to the line. 56% shooter during the regular season. So far today, first free throws for the Bears. Four games here at Ozark, a few consolation games on the men's side being played at Crowder College. 17-14. Near side, Watson. Here's Hughes, zone for Barclay. Purington skies it for Watson, cross court. Watson into the lane, blocked but fouled. Beyonce Johnson Anderson, third in blocks in the ACCA coming into the tournament. But got a good part of the body, too. So 3 team fouls on Barclay, and first free throw up and good for Watson, 66% free throw shooter. Watson gets them both 5-point game, 19-14. So as you can probably tell, and I give this speech every year, the voice is not quite what it used to be back on Wednesday evening. So if I'm pulling back a little bit, apologize. Scales on the double team, back out Gloud for 3. And away from the ball, we're going to get a foul on Shaper. Oh, correction, they're going to call it on Anderson. That's 2 on Johnson Anderson. So here comes the senior for Barclay, Sarah Easterwood.
Entered the game for the Bears, number 25, Sarah Easterwood.
Good player for Barclay from Rolla, Kansas. Double-double threat, 9.8 points per ball game, and 7.8 rebounds is 7th best in the ACCA in her senior campaign. Jaycox with the turnover. Gloud throws it ahead. King on the break. King attacking. Shot went in and out. Easterwood the put back. No, Easterwood's second time. Yes, and the foul.
Sarah Easterwood. Ambassador foul number 5, Annie Jaycox, her second. Team start at the line for the Bears for 25, Sarah Easterwood.
So Easterwood will try to complete an old school 3-point play. Missed it. Everybody was standing around except for Purington. Purington got tripped up. So a foul by King. That's 5 team fouls on Barclay. So 2 shots for McKenzie, who's a little slow to get up.
Her first, Team Smith.
So Purington having some trouble. And it looks like she's not going to shoot the free throws, so she's going to go right to the bench. And, boy, that's a big loss. Sadie Green will come in and shoot for her. Parrington over on the far side of the court just trying to walk it off. Could have been a little roll of the ankle. And hold up. Inadvertent whistle, I guess. No clue. So Jaycock's out. Coming in is Abby Bogus. Scales will inbound. It's Scales, Gloud, Melton, King, and Easterwood. The 5 right now for Barclay as we wrap up quarter number 1 here. King to Easterwood. Easterwood missed it short. Watson. Oh, nice pass to Shaper. Shaper couldn't get the layup, though. Gloud on the near side. Takes it left side, attacks. Can't get the roll. Easterwood, though, the putback.
Easterwood.
Hughes gets it back. Hughes will pull up. Yes.
3 from Adriana Hughes.
She doesn't quite have the explosiveness that we've come to know in previous years because she's limited, but with that injury, but she's kind of been doing a nice job just pulling up from deep.
Ambassador foul number 14, Sadie Gray, her first, team's 4th.
14 fouls now on Ozark. Purington back on the bench. Ashley Cornforth will come in. Underneath Easterwood. Oh, got the nice roll there. 22-20. These teams are on fire. 53% for Ozark, 44% for Barclay. Barclay's 2 of 4 from behind the arc. Watson bounce pass over to Bogus. Cornforth back to her. Watson up top. Shot clock at 7. And Hughes misses off the back iron. Offensive rebound by Cornforth. It's it out. Bogus for 3. Yes.
3.
Abby now with her first bucket. The team 3 of 6 from behind the arc. Last shot time for Barclay. Easterwood throws it underneath. Ball deflected out. 1.3 seconds to work with. Melton will come in. Maya Giles also checking in here in the closing seconds. Fusilier also out there, and she'll inbound it. So 1.3 here in the quarter. Giles can't get the shot off. 25-20, high-scoring first quarter. Here in the third place game, you're watching the 2020 ACCA Women's Basketball Tournament. We'll be back with quarter number 2 in just a moment. Second quarter in the third place game underway here in Joplin. Chris Sheeman, glad to be back with you. 25-20, good start to the game. High scoring. Ozark 9 of 18 shooting. Barclay shooting well too at 44% in that quarter. 8 points for Jackson for the Bears. 8 points for Purington, who left shaken up, and we haven't seen her since then. Same lineup for Kyle Wickland's team that closed the quarter. It's Hughes, Watson, Bogus, Cornforth, and Green. 3 is no good by Hughes. Rebound controlled by Melton. Melton on the court with Scales, Giles, Fusilier, Easterwood. That's the 5 for Barclay. Watson steps inside the arc, short on it. Melton into the forecourt. Fusilier now will set up the offense for the Bears. Barclay, first year in the tournament, as Melton is fouled on her way to the hoop. Ozark also first time in the third place game in a long while for the Ambassadors. Good sign for Ozark. Purington back in. Sadie Green will come out. Lydia King back out there for Scales for my new Twitter buddy, Marcus Mitchell. Doing a nice job with Barclay this season. These two teams are also conference foes, by the way, both in the MCCC. Barclay lost in the third place game in that tournament, and Ozark won 5th. So 25-22. Alexis Cloud coming back in for Barclay. So conference rivals meeting here in the ACCA tournament for 3rd. Championship game at 3 p.m. today. Money in the bank on that 3 ball for Watson. Ozark is 5 of 8 from downtown. Fusilier the extra pass out to Cloud from King. Now Fusilier up top. Cloud catch and shoot. Yes.
3, Alexis Cloud.
Alexis Cloud, Jr. And now Barclay at 50%, 3 of 6 from behind the arc. Watson thought about it. Instead, Bogus for 3. Got one earlier, not that time though. Fusilier now sprinting into the forecourt. Fusilier, the hop step, couldn't get the bucket. Put back no good by King, and jump ball called. It'll be Ambassador ball.
Entering the game for Bears for 24, Beyonce Johnson Anderson.
Easterwood goes to the bench. Johnson Anderson back out there for the Bears. Picked up 2 fouls in that first quarter. Madison Shaper coming in for Cornforth for Ozark. 8 points apiece for Jackson and Purington to lead their teams. 6 for Shaper, who just came in, and 6 for Easterwood, who left. Runner by Purington couldn't get it to go. Johnson Anderson, King the give and go, and King blocked but fouled. Men's third place game is coming up next, and it's the top 2 seeds, Champion and Arlington. Arlington's run will end. We will have a first time ever men's champion crowned later today. Ozark in the tournament for the first time, and in the championship game, I should say, for the first time. University of Los Angeles, their third-year program also reaching the championship game after a couple of third-place finishes, I believe, in the first 2 years here in this tournament. Hughes on the far side for Ozark. Double team comes, and Bogus will throw it off a defender. 15 on the shot clock for Ozark. No correction, they say it was last touch by Ozark, so my fault, turnover. Tight game, high-scoring game, well played by both sides. Barclay, their shooting has cooled off a little bit, now down to 39% after they were over 50%. As you see, the three no good from Giles there. Ozark has cooled off a little bit as well. They're at 44%. Shaper. And we got another foul called. 2 on Ozark, 1 on the Bears now at the 6:20 mark. Jackson coming back in, Scales, also Summer Melton.
Into the game for Bears, number 12, Summer Melton, number 20, Mari Scales, number 23, Jamia Jackson.
Summer Melton from OK, Oklahoma. Not great Oklahoma, not fantastic Oklahoma, just OK Oklahoma. Aim higher, OK. Attacking is Watson, counted in the foul. Now Watson will go to the line for an old school three-point play.
Bears foul for 0-0, Alexis Cloud, her second, team second. Into the game for the Bears, number 10, Lydia King. At the line for the Ambassadors, number 22, Jessica Watson.
Three-point play is complete. 31-26. OK Oklahoma is named after a trucking company, by the way. Creole influence, believe it or not, in that part of Oklahoma. They used to ship in workers from down in Louisiana. Interesting little town that Summer Melton calls home. Both teams with 2 team fouls, nearing the midway point of quarter number 2, third place game. Ozark with a 5-point advantage. Watson attacks, and it's a 7-point lead. This might be the biggest so far today for Ozark, and Marcus Mitchell wants to talk about it. Timeout, we will step aside nearing the midway point of quarter number 2. Ozark expanding its lead to 7 here in the third place game. Jessica Watson is up to 10 points. Watson and Purington combined 18 of the 33 for Ozark. Jackson has 8 points for Barclay, 6 for Easterwood, and 4 for Scales. Those are the leaders so far. Barclay just 1 of 6 here in the quarter, though, and turning the basketball over out of the timeout, which is a coach's biggest pet peeve. They got a lot of pet peeves, but that's near the top. Purington hesitates, step to the right, and her first miss. That's going to be a foul on the rebound on Ozark. 3 fouls on Ozark, Watson's first. Melton underneath the King, ripped away by Purington. Purington will wait for her teammates. Good job by the Bears getting back on defense, but give up an open look to Watson there, and she makes him pay. So Ozark continues to be hot from behind the line. They are 6 of 11. Watson's got 13 points. The future is bright here at Ozark. Jay Cox, he's going to be bumped by Fuselaire. Both teams now with 3 team fouls. Beyonce Johnson-Anderson returns for Barclay.
First, team's third. Into the game for the Bears, 24, Beyonce Johnson-Anderson.
Purington out near midcourt. Purington, bounce pass underneath. Shaper got it to go. It's all Ozark here in the second quarter. 13-6, the advantage for Ozark. Ozark 5 of 10 shooting in the quarter. Barclay just 1 of 7. Trying to change that. Fuselaire way off. Tried to follow her shot, and the senior Hughes with the rebound. Watson on the baseline. Shaper flips it up and in. So this is an extended run now for Ozark, and Barclay got to talk about it again. Don't want to let it get too far out of hand. Right now it's a 14-point lead for the Ambassadors here in the third place game. We'll be back. Back live in Joplin, the third place game, and Ambassadors, the host school, in control. Here's Scales. Nice play drawn up out of the timeout from Marcus Mitchell's team as Barclay hadn't scored in quite a while, just their second field goal of the quarter. Now they get a turnover. Here is Jackson blocking foul, count it. So Jackson connects. She'll go to the line for a 3-point opportunity. Jackson now in double figures with 10. 10 points in 10 minutes for Jamia. Freshman. And she's going to be a good player for a long time for Marcus Mitchell's team. 56% free throw shooter. Missed that one. Johnson-Anderson tries to save it. Who did it go off of? Scales or no? It went off the Ambassadors. It went off Watson, they say. Ozark shooting 52%. Both teams with 6 turnovers. Barclay now under 40% at 39. Jackson heat check. She is on fire. So what was a 14-point lead has been cut in half. Jamia Jackson helping her team out to a 7-0 run. Hughes, Watson, zone. Oh, shot rejected. Beyonce Johnson-Anderson out to Jackson, and Jackson lays it up and in. Just like that, a 5-point game. It's a 9-0 Barclay run out of that timeout, and now Ozark wants to talk about it. We step aside again. Third meeting for these two schools here in this 2019-2020 campaign. Comes in the final game of the season for both. Ozark led by as many as 14, and Barclay in the middle of a 9-0 run. 5-point game. Here's Hughes, blocked. Good defense for the Bears. 2:17 left to go. Jackson's had the hot hand. In the corner, it's Melton. Nice anticipation there by Watson to come up with the steal. Watson hesitates and goes. Too strong off the glass. Anderson the board. Fusilier to Jackson. Jackson pull up three, not that time. A rare miss for her here today. Jackson is 6 of 8. She's got 15 points, a game high. Watson has 13. Shaper with 10 for Ozark. Jaycox. Jump ball called. Possession arrow will favor Barclay. So the run continues for the Bears. Minute 35 left to go until halftime. Jackson Fusilier. Here's Scales. Scales flips it up off the glass. No. Scales the putback blocked. Scales stays with it. Swings it out. Jackson for 3. Missed her last 2. Anderson another offensive rebound. Fusilier now. Mid-range jumper way off. Ozark. Purington attacks and draws the foul. Well, Purington has gotten beat up today. Holding her head now.
Bears stop number 24, Beyonce Johnson-Anderson, her third team score.
So Johnson-Anderson with the foul, picking up her third. Sarah Easterwood's going to come into the game. And Mackenzie, tough as nails freshman, she is shaken up again. So Purington, again, will not shoot the free throws. As she goes back to the bench.
That's the line for the advantage, number 11, Abby Bogus.
Abby Bogus, 6 of 9 from the free throw line during the regular season, will step in. I believe the opponent gets to pick who shoots. That free throw ends a 9-0 run. So Ozark, which is led by 14 here in this quarter, back up by 7 now. Purington keeps holding her head on the bench, and it might have to go into concussion protocol here. We'll take a look. But hopefully for Ozark, she's able to get back out there again. Underneath Easterwood. So Easterwood comes in for Anderson after she gets in the foul trouble. Another bucket for Easterwood. She has 8 now. Watson. Jaycox had it ripped away. Good defense. Giles throws ahead, looking for Jackson. Jackson wanted to get out on the break, but now waits for her teammate. Shot clock is off, too, so wise decision not to force it. Jackson, game's leading scorer. It's swung over to Giles. Clock is at 4 now. Scales can't get it to go. And that will do it for the half. High-scoring third-place game. Ozark leads by as many as 14, but Barclay fights their way back to close the gap on an 11-2 run to end quarter number 2. It's Ozark 42, Barclay 37. You're watching the 2020 ACCA Women's third-place game from Joplin, Missouri. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Welcome back to Joplin, everybody. Chris Sheeman, glad to be here with you. It's the third place game for the ladies here in this 2020 tournament. Ozark leading by 5. Good close to the half, though, for Barclay after Ozark went up by 14, an 11-2 run for the Bears to close out that first half as they force a turnover here to start the second period. Give you the first half numbers as Purington's back out there. So Purington okay as she gets on the board. Double figures now for her. We'll talk about that more in a second. 49% shooting for Ozark, 38% for Barclay. Barclay 4 of 11 from downtown. Ozark is 6 of 12. Rebounding is about even, +2, 23-21 for Ozark. 9 turnovers for the Ambassadors and 8 for the Bears. Leading scorers, Jamia Jackson, 6 of 10 shooting, has 15 points with 3 rebounds and a couple steals. She's the only player in double figures for Barclay right now. 3 players in double figures for Ozark. Jessica Watson, 4 of 7. She has 13 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Purington with 10, 5, and 4 on outside shot at a triple-double for her. And Shaper with 10 points on 5 of 8 shooting. So, well played third place game. Jackson scales, floats it up, and gets the bounce off the back of the rim. 3-point game now. Purington give and go with Jaycox. Jaycox couldn't get the roll. There's Jackson. Scales attacks again, goes glass again, and it's a 1-point game. Barclay has not led in this game. We've been tied 3 different times. Largest lead for Ozark was 40-26. Since then, 17-4 extended run for Barclay. Jackson into the forecourt. Scales on the far side of your screen. Zone for Ozark. Ball poked away by Green, but they get her on a foul. Barclay first year in the tournament on the women's side. And for Ozark, if they're able to win third place, it would be their best finish in a number of years. Barclay, the 3 seed, coming in at 12 and 11. Splitting the first 2 games in the tournament. And for Ozark, 13 and 17, the host school, the number 4 seed. Looking to draw a foul. Melton, instead it bounces to King, and Melton is shaken up. So Barclay takes its first lead of the game. The concern right now is with Summer Melton, who took a shot. So Shea Fuselaire is going to come in for the Bears. First lead of the ball game for Barclay. Adriana Hughes coming back in as well for Ozark. Purington top of the key. Swung over to Watson. Bounce pass goes right to Anderson. Throw ahead to Jackson. Jackson turns on the Jets, goes right to the hoop, and this Barclay extended run continues. 21-4, Barclay going back to quarter number 2. Watson trying to end it, can't do it. Purington offensive rebound, ball deflected by Johnson Anderson, though. Jackson comes up with it, and Jackson will pull it back. Steps into a 3, can't get it. Anderson and Watson are tied up. Jump ball will keep it on this side of the court.
Ambassador foul number 22, Jessica Watson, her second, 10 seconds.
Barclay in the third quarter, 5 of 8 shooting, just 1 of 5 for Ozark. King can't get it to go. Shaper, now Purington. Loose shoelace by Anderson, so Ozark had numbers, but it's poked away by Barclay. And that'll give Johnson Anderson time. Well, she's going to come out now as Easterwood will check back in. Sarah Easterwood, the lone senior for Barclay, playing in her final collegiate game. 8 points on 4 or 6 shooting, 4 rebounds so far for her. And a good defensive play to come up with that turnover. Jackson now out on the run, lost the dribble. 9th turnover for Barclay, 12 turnovers for Ozark. Just about 4 minutes into quarter number 3, this women's third place game. Chris Sheeman, glad to be with you. Our final day here in Joplin. Purington for 3, yes. Tie ball game. 47 all. McKenzie, 5 of 7, 3 of 4 from downtown, 13 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. And she has taken a couple of wicked shots. How about Jackson? Jamia Jackson answers right back. It's point guard against point guard. Jackson's up to 20 on 8 of 13. Hughes in the corner. Back to Purington, fakes the 3, the runner. Tip for the rebound, Jaycox cleans up the board. 1 point ball game, nearing the midway point of quarter number 3. King driving on the baseline, blocked. Shaper got the rejection, diving for the ball, Hughes, and she will be tied up. So we'll stay on this side of the court. So Jackson will inbound it. The officials needing to get together and talk about something. Coming up later today, we have the third place game for the men here at Ozark on YouTube. It's the top 2 seeds, champion in Arlington. Then the women's final will be champion in Arlington as well. 1 p.m. on the third place game, 3 p.m. on the women's final as Fusilier goes to the hoop, puts Barclay back up by 3. Men's championship game, we will have a first-time champion on the men's side, ULA and Ozark. Hughes couldn't get it to go. Ball deflected out off Ozark, and good sign for Barclay fan Summer Melton, who took a wicked shot. Comes back into the game, back at 100. Harrington and Watson both have 13 apiece to lead Ozark. Easterwood had it blocked. Nice defense there by Jaycox. 20 points for Jamia Jackson. 10 for Scales to pace Barclay. Jackson to inbound it. There's Fusilier. Scales back to her. Shot clock down to 6. Fusilier goes around the defense, came up short. Shaper the board. Purington into the forecourt. Hughes near side. Watson throws it up in the lane, follows her miss. Inside 4 to go. Extra possession now. Hesitation on the 3. Now Purington will hoist and come up way short. Ozark 3 of 11 in the quarter. And Barclay with that miss is 7 of 15. Ozark has 9 points in the last 10 minutes of action. Nice give and go. That cut by Jaycox, couldn't get it. Shaper cleans it up though. 1 point ball game. .3:17 to go. Johnson Anderson throws it up, counted in the foul.
Johnson Anderson. Ambassador foul number 3, Adriana Hughes, her second, team's third.
Hughes picks up her second. 3 fouls on Ozark here in the quarter. None yet on the Bears. Johnson Anderson can't get the three-point play. Rebound by Jaycox. So the Ambassadors down by 3 again to Barclay, the number 3 seeded Bears from Haviland, Kansas, and Ozark, the host school, as the number 4 seed. Purington given space. Boy, the Barclay defense got away with one there. Inside 3 to go here in quarter number 3. Scales into the forecourt. Here's Jackson from downtown. Banks it in.
3 from Jamia Jackson.
Jamia Jackson up to 23 points. 9 of 14. 5 of 9 from downtown. Hughes blocked. Shaper. Tough angle. Scales. A couple of players open and traveling is the call. Fuselaire frustrated with herself on that turnover.
Into the game for the Ambassador, number 25, Ashley Cornforth.
Cornforth coming in.
Into the game for the Bears, number 00, Alexis Gloud.
Alexis Gloud for Barclay. Watson to Purington. Hughes, good ball movement. Now attacking is Watson, too strong. Fuselaire into the forecourt. In the corner, it's Giles. Maya Giles for Barclay. To Gloud up top. Scales to Fuselaire on the left. Swings it out. Open look. Giles hit one earlier. Not that time, though. And she missed back iron. Hughes to Purington. Hughes cut off. Nice pass, though. Got it to Cornforth. So Cornforth scores. Ozark was facing its biggest deficit. Needed that bucket. It's 4 of 17 here in the quarter. Ozark down to 39% shooting. Barclay is up to 42%. They're 9 of 18 here in the quarter. Scales attacks right around the defense. Too easy. Time for a 2-for-1 if Ozark wants it. Purington to Jaycox. Extra pass, Cornforth. Back-to-back buckets for Ashley. Came in averaging just 1.1 points per ball game. She's got 4 here in the closing seconds. Fuselaire. Blocking foul called on Ozark. That's the 4th on Ozark.
Ambassador foul number 22, Jessica Watson, her third.
4 fouls on Ozark, no fouls in the quarter for Barclay. The Bears men's team losing in the 5th place game to Kansas Christian, so 6th place finish for Barclay men. And the women trying to take 3rd, first year here in the tournament. Jaycox will come out and Mariah Monday checking in. They say Fuselaire was in the act of shooting, I guess, so she'll take 2 free throws, 62% during the regular season. There are no 1-and-1s in the women's game. There are 3-point opportunities. This is a 2-shot foul if she was in the act. Fuselaire 1 out of 2, and it's a 5-point game.
Into the game for the Bears, number 23, Jamia Jackson.
Jamia Jackson, 23 points on 9 of 14 shooting, checks in. Last shot time for Ozark. After a good Ozark second quarter, Barclay has come back here in the third, shooting 53%. Purington can't get it. Cornforth had the rebound, lost it. 2 seconds to work with. Jackson trying to throw it up. The heave is short. And we go to quarter number 4 in a back and forth kind of a game. Ozark dominates quarter number 2. Barclay controls quarter number 3, and they're 10 minutes away from taking third. We'll be back with quarter number 4 in just a moment. Chris Sheeman, glad to be back with you. Quarter number 4 is underway. Barclay for the game, 43% shooting. Ozark at 40%. Pretty tightly played third place game, and an early foul here in the quarter on Barclay. Bears led by Jamia Jackson, 9 of 14, 23 points. Scales has 12 and 4. For Ozark, 3 players in double figures. Purington and Watson both have 13. Shaper with 12. Purington, 13 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Shaper, 12 and 5. She has 2 blocks as well. Cloud from downtown, an air ball. Hughes, nice box out. Adriana into the forecourt. Adriana over 1,000 points for her career. Meant a lot to this program. Watson for 3. Can't get it to go. Ozark in the first half went 6 of 12 from downtown. Since that time, they are 1 of 7 here in the second half. 7 of 19 overall for 3. Get a turnover here. Watson needs some help. Got it to Hughes. Watson, Monday. Watson swings it out. Bogus back to Hughes. The deep 3 off the back iron. Giles collects the board for Barclay. Jackson into the forecourt. The future of women's basketball in the ACCA is pretty good. Jamia Jackson, a freshman. Purington. Watson for Ozark, freshman. A lot of good talent, good young talent here in this third place game. Will either one of these teams champion, finally be able to knock off Arlington one day? That's the long-term goal as Mariah Monday buries a triple. Monday, who came into the tournament just 8 games played and 7 points. Seeing extended time here in this national tournament. Easterwood the miss. The senior for Barclay. Hughes, the senior for Ozark, can't get it to go. Tip for the rebound. Scales comes up with it. The other 2 seniors we haven't seen crumped yet today for Ozark. Sadie Green started the game. She only played 9 minutes, though. We haven't seen her at all here in the second half. So Hughes and Easterwood, the two seniors out there. Watson attacks, draws the foul on Easterwood. Second on Barclay, and a chance now for Ozark to tie it up.
Bears down number 25, Sarah Easterwood, her second, team second. Into the game for the Ambassadors. Number 1, Mackenzie Purington.
Mackenzie Purington comes in. Adriana Hughes comes out. Johnson Anderson, Melton returning
Also into the game for the Ambassadors. Number 23, Madison
for
Shaper.
Barclay. And now Shaper will come back in for Cornforth. Good minutes for Cornforth. Closing the half with 4 points, or closing the third quarter, my apologies, with 4 points. Jessica Watson, 66% from the line on the season. Today, perfect 4 out of 4. First miss, 4 out of 5. So Bears hanging on to a 1-point advantage. Jackson into the forecourt. Here's Melton. Johnson Anderson, offensive foul called on her. She's been in foul trouble all now morning and into the afternoon. She's now got 4. And Barclay, who didn't have a foul at all in the third quarter, has 3 in 3 minutes here in quarter number 4. Men's third place game coming up at 1 p.m. Arlington and Champion, top 2 seeds. Monday gets it back out. Watson. Bogus from downtown. Nope. Nice box out and board for Anderson there. Gloud double dribbled. Scales and Fusilier coming back in for Marcus Mitchell's team. And it looks like he's going to call timeout. 6:31 left to go. Ozark will try to take its first lead here in this fourth quarter when we come back. .6:31 left to go. Ozark with the basketball trying to retake the lead. Let's get myself promoting out of there and get back to action. Chris Sheeman, glad to be back with you. Purington with Watson, Monday, Bogus, and Jaycox. That's the 5 for Ozark as Watson puts her team up for the first time here in quarter number 4. A very well played third place game. It's been a fun one to call, and hopefully you're enjoying it at home or wherever you might be as well. We got Melton, Scales, Fusilier, Jackson, and King. That's the 5 for Barclay. Melton left wide open, too strong. Purington, another rebound. Purington, 13 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Jessica Watson leads the team in scoring, 16 and 7. She's got 5 assists as well. The 2 freshmen playing well for Kyle Wickland's team. Watson. This is a program that won 2 games last year, Ozark. 13-win program here in 2019-2020. Mentioned it yesterday. The biggest reason for now plus 11 in the win column as they throw it away here, and Fusilier will go one-on-one score and the foul. So Barclay with a big bucket there. But the biggest reason for the turnaround, other than recruiting, obviously, is they're sharing the basketball more. They're attacking defensively, more steals, 11 per game during the season, and under 20 turnovers a game. All of those numbers were on the high end or low end, respectively, last year. Speaking of good freshmen, Madison Shaper coming in. Fusilier will try to complete an old school three-point play. 1 out of 2 from the free throw line so far today. So the Bears lead by 2, 63-61. Barclay good at sharing the basketball as well. 4 players average at least a couple assists per game. 14 offensive rebounds per game on the season for Barclay. Able to get a lot of second chance opportunities. Easterwood, Johnson, Anderson helping with that. Jackson, the game's leading scorer with 23, off on that three-pointer past the midway point of the fourth and final quarter here in the third place game. Ozark down by 2 with the ball. Watson, yes, we are tied at 63. 39% shooting for both teams as we come down the stretch. Zone for Ozark. Fusilier, Melton, trouble with the pass, and she stepped out of bounds. Tried to ballerina the line, but couldn't do it.
Entering the game for the Bears, number 24, Beyonce Johnson-Anderson.
Barclay has missed its last 3, now up to 13 turnovers, 14 for Ozark. Relatively clean played game. Purington. There's Watson. Bounce pass goes to Shaper. Shaper's pass deflected. Fusilier trying to save it, but runs out of room and takes a seat. So it'll stay with Ozark. 13 on the shot clock. Bears in their first year here in this ACCA tournament. And Ozark looking to take third for the first time in a long time as Shaper gives Ozark its second lead of the quarter inside 4 minutes to go. Scales. Here's Jackson for 3. Jackson's cooled off a little bit. Offensive rebound there by Melton. That was what we were talking about earlier. Barclay good at hitting the glass. Jackson the reverse, goes to the bucket. That's what smart players do. She recognizes, okay, I missed the last 3 from behind the arc. Let me get something good on the interior and use my skills. That's smart basketball by Jamia Jackson. Now a turnover. Scales with the steal. Melton's got 3. Scales her first steal of the night. Fusilier can't get it to go. Fusilier follows it and scores. Back-to-back buckets for the Bears, puts them on top. 67-65, inside 3 to go. Shaper, yes, from right of the lane. Tied at 67. Back and forth we go in the third place game. 2:52 remaining. We'll be back here in just a moment. Fourth quarter, 2:52 left to go here in the women's third place game, and nothing decided yet. Chris Shima, glad to be with you. It's been a fun one. These two conference rivals meeting on the court for the third time, and both teams winning on their home court in previous meetings. Scales will attack. Scales too strong off the glass. Melton got the putback and a foul. Second foul on Ozark, 4 fouls on Barclay here in this final quarter. Old school three-point play complete, 70-67. Melton now 5 points, perfect 3 out of 3 shooting. Jamia Jackson leading all scorers with 25. Scales has 12. Adriana Hughes, the senior, out there. Turnaround shot by Jaycox, got it to go. 1 point ball game for Ozark. Jaycox 7 points now. Ozark led by Watson's 18, 16 for Shaper, 13 for Purington. Scales, Jackson. Jackson with the shot clock at 6, throws it up off the glass, no. Adriana Hughes the rebound. Controls the possession. Hughes into the forecourt. Playing in her final collegiate game. Purington, the bounce pass, Jaycox in the lane, gets it to go. And Ozark leads by 1 minute 33 left to go. It's been tight throughout. Ozark led by 14 briefly, but Barclay cut back into that pretty quickly. Melton way off on the 3. Scales chases it down though. Jackson has had the hot hand. Throws it to Melton. Shot clock at 6. Melton, ball deflected out. Good defense. A steal by Hughes. And Purington also there. Watson ahead. Ooh, looks like some contact there. No call though. Here comes Jackson, trailing by 1. Jackson to the bucket, and Jackson, offensive foul. Jamia Jackson has 4. Keep an eye on that in case we have overtime. Melton out, King in for Marcus Mitchell's team. Two conference rivals giving us all they got, in the third place game. So Ozark with the ball, 1 point lead. Purington, the floor general. And Purington will run some clock. Look for the go around 10. Bounce pass to Hughes. Jaycox, triple teamed out to Shaper. Off the back iron. The rebound controlled by King. And King's going to be bumped. That's 3 team fouls on Ozark. Barclay has 5. So the shot clock is off. Barclay can hold for the winner here if they want. See if we get a timeout. Yeah, Marcus Mitchell's going to do just that. So we will go away. It's last shot time and possible game-winning time for Barclay. Ozark will try to get a defensive stand on their end. We'll be back. So Barclay, look for them to try to get it to Jackson here. In fact, she's going to catch the inbound. Barclay down by 1, trying to hold for the final shot and possible game winner here. Here's Fusilier driving in. Scales is left alone. They were looking for Jackson, and Jaycock steals it away. It's stolen back, though. And Jackson will hoist. Had more time than she realized. Scales now couldn't get it to go. And Ozark survives. The Ambassadors win 3rd here in this 2020 ACCA tournament. Yeah, Jamia Jackson didn't realize there was still 5 seconds left, and you can't fault her for trying to make a play there, but Barclay comes up short at the end. So the Ambassadors winning 71-70. Their season wraps up at 14-17. Barclay falls to 12-11 as their year comes to an end. So Ozark takes 3rd place. Barclay will finish 4th here in this 2020 ACCA tournament. 3 more games to decide things as the brackets start to fill out. We will be back at 1 o'clock with the top 2 seeds on the men's side. Champion at Arlington. Couple of rivals playing for 3rd place as well on the men's side. We'll be back at 1 o'clock with our next 3rd place game. Thanks for watching.